Well, howdy there. My name is Jim Turner, and so I have an ongoing story here. Um, I got my beehive through a whole year. That can be challenging. I mean, what was it? 63% of all hives in the United States perished. And here's the top two reasons. Um, One is not getting the varroa mites under control before going into winter. Um, and two is taking too much honey out of the hive. Um, yeah, I never took any honey out of this hive. Here, let's see what they're doing. They're doing something weird, right? Look at that. Actually, I did that. There was a bunch of them on the bottom down there, just hanging out. It's called bearding, trying to cool down. Somebody removing a bunch themselves out there. They help keep the hive cooler. And so, um, what I did, the reason why it looks like that is, I said, when I did my powder shake, I think it was today. I think it was today. I got so many projects I kind of lose track. And so I did a powder shake on that today, and so my thought was, I'm gonna make these girls that are bearding out here sticky, so they'll groom each other. So I took my 1-to-1 sugar syrup. Well, when I first did it, they thought they they all started going inside, most of them, right? Because they remember me doing that with this pump spray bottle. So when I want them to go in, because I want to do something in front, because today I pulled the observational panel out, and so I got a pretty good amount of varroa mites today. Well, this is August 1st, 2025. So, so I put a new panel in there, and so I don't really see any more dying bees than normal. Even through the winter, I saw more in the winter. They were calling themselves because they must have been thinking they're running low on food. But I kept what's called mountain sugar. I would take some sugar, put it in there, a thin layer, spray it with this thing here until it looked mostly clear all over the place, mostly a little bit, but not runny, where it was like running. And then put another layer of sugar on top of that to hold that sugar in place, so that it didn't run off. And then I just lightly sprayed that top like that with the sprayer, and I did that multiple times throughout the winter. And they ate it all. So apparently they did not have enough honey in there to actually get the hive through the winter. So there was two big die-offs, around 10,000 each time, and one in mid-November, and then one in towards the end of January. Big die-offs. Like, I was out here one day, look, there's no dead bees I see. Come out the next day, thousands were on the ground, dead or dying. It's like they have this clock thing, and it just clicks, and they take themselves out, trying to protect the overall hive. So they thought that for some reason they didn't think there was going to be enough food in there, even though I was mountain feeding. And that mountain feed, when I opened up the top up there, oh my gosh, it was so packed. It was like what you just saw there. It was all packed up there, them eating that mountain sugar. And on occasion I would give it a spray, because sometimes it'll dry out and then they can't eat it. And so just kind of spray it now and then, just a little bit. And so they're just outside chilling. Just chilling. Now, for the new beekeepers, you see something like that, you're going, what's happening? Are they swarming? And here's a good way that I came up with, so that you don't get that excited feeling. Excuse me while I adjust this stuff around here. So you don't get that excited feeling that maybe they're swarming out. So what I do is I put a baited hive right up there. I already caught a swarm up there too, but not from my hive. I got a swarm that came from due south, and and that's over here is the one with the yellow flowers. That's where my swarm is that I caught, and I noticed that also there's wax moths that are getting in these hives. And what a wax moth will do is they'll eat that comb. Then they have to start all over. And I watched that happen on my observational panel. Throughout the winter, the wax moths were eating the comb that they weren't occupying, because in the winter they typically spoon, really tight, keep each other and keep the queen safe and warm, and any eggs that she might have laid and larvae. So they're not doing much over there on the empty side, which is why the wax moths just decimated that side of the hives all the way up. And I thought they were building new comb up the top. No, they were trying to rebuild what the wax moths destroyed. I find wax moth larvae crawling around on my observation panel all the time. Probably 5, 6 times out of 10, there's larvae, wax moth larvae crawling around on my observational panel when I change it. So that's a problem. So what I'll probably end up doing is taking out the comb and putting it in a big black bag, sealing it so those larvae, any wax moth or their larvae or whatever, if I seal it really tight and put it in a garage, they'll die. All right, take them out before they eat much more of the comb. So yeah, we need to preserve that comb. They put a lot of work in there making that comb, and so yeah, and the swarm is doing pretty good. I got their little what is that, watering thing there. So I watch them. They'll go into this thing here, this watering thing here, and I watch them literally take baths. I kid you not. First I thought, huh? So I came out here and I saw one in the water and I grabbed a stick and I was going to get her out. Then she just climbed on one of the sticks that I had in there and she ruffled her wings, and did this and groomed herself, and I'll be doggone, she did a swan dive right back into the water. Then she flipped on her back and she flapped in her wings like this, upside down, doing a breaststroke. I kid you not. I saw one today. She just went in, took her little bath. She didn't flip upside down. She just went in and took her little bath, swam around, and then she got out and groomed herself and dried herself off and flew back in the hive. Yeah, bees take baths when they want to, when they feel something's not right, and it's good to have that, because if they get exposed to some pesticides or something, they sense something's not right. Taking a bath might be a good thing, right? Well, I think I'm going to take a bath before I go into the hive. Go in there clean. So, yeah, that was really interesting. So, I took out the observation panels on both hives today and replaced them. And the new hive, the swarm I caught, it's got row mites, but it's not heavy. Now, this one with all the bees out in the front here, yeah, they got quite a few mites in there, but it's at a level, because when I pulled it 4 days ago, same amount of mites today as 4 days ago. And so right now I'm doing a powder shake every 4 days, because I'm seeing enough mites where it warrants it every 4 days instead of once a week. And so that's where I'm at. And I don't see, last year this time, I was in desperation mode. I had hundreds of bees with no wings flying around, running around out here, because my surfaces, I tore off my roof. I took all my old shingles and I made a pathway, and so you can see the pathway here. And there's the pathway coming in. So I just made that so that I can keep all the weeds down, and it's just easier to manage. Every time I move this tripod, I have to adjust the camera a little bit. So I didn't record all that stuff because I created a hernia disc by lifting too much heavy weights with the legs. So I was sitting on my butt, glutes, and I was raising the weight up, but the weight was heavier than my body. And so I was doing 3 sets of 10 like that, and I was coming up in the air, getting up and slapping back down on my butt, up in the air, slapping down on my butt, and that irritated a disc. I think she said 3, so between 2 and 4, and she wants to do surgery, 2 of them. I'm going, what? So I don't know about that. You know, I'm getting around pretty good now, and so I might opt not to do that because it's a 5-year recuperation time for that kind of a surgery, she said. So half a decade is a long time to walk around concerned about, oh, that's a wasp. He's checking out the camera. It's funny. I got a whole bunch of wasps that are always around here trying to get in. Now and then, when I'm back here taking my break, I see them on the ground. A couple of bees are on top of one of these wasps going at it. And yep, so they're doing a pretty good job keeping anything from getting in. Not only that, they kind of hang in front, and there's only like these little gaps here and there. I guess that's their way of reducing the entrance. They do it themselves. So yeah, so the other hives looks like they're starting to beard a little bit over there. And so that's kind of my day. I got Peaches. I was sitting here today. I was just sitting here looking at the hive. Bonk, bonk. Just one after another. It just Peaches just fell down and hit me on my head. And so I took them in the house. I peeled the skin off and I ate them. That's my revenge. Oh shoot! And so now what I do is I take these peaches, and there's probably about 200 of them up there, and I process them and I use them for sweetener and all kinds of things, because I don't use sugar for anything, ever. Except for the bees, they get it. And so along with my grapes, my peaches, I don't use raspberries as sweetener. But grapes, so the grapes, I use grapes, peaches, something else. I forgot for sweetener. It'll come to me. And so, yeah, I'm on this kind of medication, Rapapitin, something up. Yeah, it makes the mind kind of fuzzy. So I've been on it for 2 weeks solid now, and it just makes it so we can't focus on things. It's kind of like, I don't know, having a hangover or something. I hate taking medication, but that pain was so bad. Well, you folks who had bulging discs pressing up against your nerve, this boy has empathy for you. Yeah. So there you go. That's kind of my day today, and I got these things that are going to be blooming pretty soon, because we're at probably the middle of the dearth, or tail end of it, or the very kind of beginning, I guess. And so I'm going to have some raspberry flowers coming on, and some of these weird flowers here I got planted everywhere. They're going to start blooming, so I gave them some food through the dearth. And that's kind of my day. Please subscribe, thumbs up, ring the bell, leave a comment. And yeah, the only reason why I didn't put the sugar shake and observational pool and all that kind of stuff is because of the herniated disc. You gotta get the camera display, and then you gotta adjust this, and you gotta it's time consuming. So I just figured I'd tell you the story, and that's it. So I'm gonna give these girls one last sugar spray, and this bottle will be empty. Yeah, I know you want it. Yeah, you want it. And you're going to get it. So also what this does is, so those girls are going to become sticky, right? So they're going to become sticky, and they're going to need someone to groom them. So when I do, so usually I do that to spray them with just water, and they go running all in, right? Oh, it's raining. Oh, the sky is falling. And they go running in, because sometimes I need to do things in front there where I don't want them all there. And so the first time I sprayed them with sugar water, They're like, oh, run in. He sprayed with the water again. And they started to go, and then they kind of stopped. This is different water. No. And the next time I sprayed, more came out. The next time I sprayed, even more came out. The next time I sprayed, the whole front was just covered with, because they went and told their girlfriends, there is something out there that falls. Right? And they walked around where I sprayed and, absorbed the little bubbles of sugar water with their straw. Yeah, their tongue is like a straw, and they like that, kind of like a hummingbird, and a fiscus or something like that. And so what's going to happen now that front is all soaked, it's got these little droplets of sugar water. They're going to come out and they're going to fill that whole front. You can see all the little droplets. They're going to go on an Easter egg kind of hunt, right? But it's for drops of sugar water. So that whole front is going to get all filled up again as they go out looking for the little droplets that are now on the front of the brood box there. Yeah. Now if I was to spray them with water, they'd be all gone. They'd go right in. With sugar water, they're going, What's going to happen is they're going to actually get into a grooming situation, right? They're going to start grooming each other, which is what I want. So that's the whole purpose why I do powder shaking. The whole purpose of the sugar shaking. The whole reason why I do that is get them to start grooming each other. They do it naturally, but I want them to do it in droves, right? So I can see them on top of each other. They're grooming each other. Oh man, they're packed on top of each other. Yeah. So what they're doing is they're grooming each other because that sugar water gets in between the legs of the varroa mite. And so when the bees are grooming, they can't actually see the varroa mites because that's how small the varroa mites are. But they inadvertently, as they're grooming, trying to get that sugar water that's in and under and between the legs of the varroa mites, they pop off the varroa mite, and sometimes the varroa mite dies when it gets removed from its blood-sucking spot. And so, yeah, they're on top of each other big time right now. And that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted. That's what I want. I want that whole hive in there to just be grooming everybody, grooming each other, everybody, all of them, on top of each other grooming. What you got here? I watched them where it was so cute. I gotta say it's cute because it was. I was sitting here, and then I got kind of close. I was like, what is that bee doing to the other one on top of that one? I was looking, and all of a sudden, there was a girl on top, right, just laying right on top of her, but back a little bit behind her, the groomer. So the groomer was back a little bit behind the head of the one that's being groomed, and the one that was being groomed raised that wing up, and the groomer went underneath the wings and was grooming underneath the wings. I thought that was so cool. I said, dang, I don't have my camera out here. I don't carry my camera around. Sometimes I wish I did. When they swarmed into this little crack here and filled this whole cove here, I didn't have my camera. It looked like Frosty the Snowman coming in. One big ball behind another big ball behind another huge ball. Massive. Look at. And that's what swarmed in, and that's what's in that yellow flowered hive. Yeah. All right. Please subscribe, thumbs up, ring the bell, and you have a good day now, you hear?